All right. So let's say you were going to use this hair dryer 20 minutes per day, and you're wanting to figure out your monthly cost. And you've already established that your cost of electricity is 15 cents per kilowatt hour. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how you would find that cost. The first thing that you need to do is to find out how many kilowatts you're sitting at. And it's very possible, even before you do that, you're going to end up finding watts. And in fact, that would be the case on this device. If we look at it, you will see, if we look right here, it tells you that this is in fact 1875 watts. And so we're starting with 1875 watts. And how do we get to kilowatts? So I've jumped ahead and I've shown you that if we have 1875 watts, and we use, of course, our conversion of 1 kilowatt equals 1,000 watts, we can use dimensional analysis, and we start out with 1875 watts over 1. We can multiply it times our conversion factor. This enables our watts to cancel out. We're left with the unit we want, which would go across to here. And then it's as simple as multiplying across the top, 1875, multiplying across the bottom, 1,000, dividing, and we end up saying that this device is 1.875 kilowatts. Now step 2 is going to be to find out how many kilowatt hours. So that's going to be the next step. And to find kilowatt hours, we have to take kilowatts, and then we're going to multiply it times time. And since we're wanting hours, we want it to be in hours. And so I can just start out with my kilowatts over 1, and then I can multiply it by our time. And we know our time, mentioned before, is 20 minutes over 1. And here's where we can use dimensional analysis to cancel some of this out. Great starting point is just to think about, you're wanting this unit to cancel, so I put minutes on the bottom. I want to get to hours ultimately, so I put that on top. Then I can just think, well, what are these equal to? And I know that 60 minutes does equal 1 hour. And it's not a horrible idea at this point to go ahead and cancel out your units and see if you're left with kilowatt an hour. So we are in fact done at this point, other than just going across. And that would just look like this, where we multiply these 3 things across, and we end up with 1.875 times 20 times kilowatts times hours. Divide that by 60. This would end up being 37.5 divided by 60. And at this point, I'm going to drop away the parentheses around the A. So this is just how it's commonly written, kWh. It's actually saying kilowatts times hours. And of course, that is 0.625 kilowatt hours. All right, the third thing you can do, once you find out that it's kilowatt hours, then you can find monthly kilowatt hours. And to do that, you would just take our previous number of 0.625 kilowatt hours. That would have been in a day, and then you would just multiply it times 30. And so then you would find that we end up with 18.75 kilowatt hours per month. And then our final step is we're going to just put that into our actual cost. And so you were going to take 18.75 kilowatt hours, and we can use dimensional analysis for this again, because we know that our cost of a kilowatt hour is $0.15, 15 cents for 1 kilowatt hour. And we can actually find our cost here by multiplying that across. And we're going to find that our cost there would be $2.81, and our kilowatts cancel away over 1. And so our monthly cost would be $2.81. Now, it is worth noting that there's another way to do this where we could use dimensional analysis to put everything, basically steps 2, 3, and 4 all into one giant row. This isn't something I'm necessarily expecting you to do, but for those of you who really can understand dimensional analysis, it would look something like this. This would be if it was 15 minutes instead of 20 minutes. And you would understand that it was 15 minutes per month. You would end up finding that this would work as well. Your kilowatt hours would cancel because you have hours here, kilowatts here, your minutes would cancel, and you would end up being left with a unit of dollars per month. And if you multiplied this across, you would end up with, as I mentioned, dollars per month, which was ultimately your question. It's okay if you don't understand this process, but I just wanted to show those of you who do a really good job with the dimensional analysis, you actually could have put steps 2, 3, and 4 all in the same step. This one, we had a 15-minute thing instead of a 20, but just in case you were curious about that. Thank you and have a great day.